Are you sick of being a product of your past? Sick of being told who you are, what you're capable of, how far you're allowed to go? Are you sick of living by limits someone else gave you? Limits you never agreed to? Good. Because you're not here to follow. You're here to rebel. Tonight, we don't just reprogram your mind. We declare war on the old one. The one trained by fear, trained by failure, trained by systems built to make you doubt your own power. From this night forward, you do not sleep like a citizen of the ordinary. You sleep like a revolutionary. Every breath is a message, every thought a weapon. You are not here to survive the system. You are here to break it and build your own. Understand this. Your subconscious is not neutral. It's either your servant or your saboteur, and it follows only one voice, yours. So speak clearly. You don't get what you deserve. You get what you command. And that command must be clear, consistent, and unshakable. Most men will go to their grave with potential untouched. They'll die with brilliance buried beneath convenience. You're not most men. This is your revolution. It begins in silence. Let's light the match. There are times in our lives when we feel like something is stirring in our hearts, like an inner voice telling us there's something bigger and better than we've ever known. You might not be able to describe it, but you can feel it. I want to feel like change is coming, and it's coming in ways you don't expect. I want to talk to you today about the less obvious ways that God is about to change your life for good, the ones you expect to see. These are the moments that you didn't see coming. They may even feel like trials or challenges at times, at first. But in truth, those are the times God is getting you ready for something bigger. Bigger today, I'm going to show you 3 strange signs that God is moving your life in ways you might not fully understand yet, but ways that will change you from the inside out. Think about a time in your life when you had to deal with a problem. Was it a setback, a loss, a betrayal, or even a failure? It felt that way. I don't want to tell you this, but the trouble you're having now is not the end of your story, because you never know what God is going to use to make you into the person you need to be in the future, that He has planned for you. The Bible says tough times will stop at night, but joy will come in the morning. Psalm 35, what you're going through now, being hurt and having a hard time, is not a sign that God has left you. It's a sign that He is getting you ready for something bigger. I know it's hard, and you might want to give up, but I want to. Don't forget that God never said the road would be easy, that He would be with us even in the worst times. Fighting is it's where you build your character, put your faith to the test, and learn to trust God that you change. More deeply than ever, realize that this God is not only present know that even when the rain is bad, He is working in and through your pain, that it's just getting you ready for the calm that comes next. God isn't just getting you through this. He's using this moment to change you, make you stronger, and raise you up. Don't give up when things get hard. Remember that what God's plan for your life will often come together when things look like they're going wrong. Sometimes God doesn't talk to us in big, loud ways. He doesn't always do that. Show His plans with big or clear signs are often the most powerful. We go through big changes in our lives during quiet times that may seem small and seem unimportant at first, but are really divine words in your soul. God often talks loudest when you're alone with your thoughts. When you're staring out the window in your room or going down the street, all of a sudden something inside you stirs. It could be you might have a strong sense of peace or love. It could be a thought or an idea that comes to mind. You never thought that these quiet times would be signs that God is talking to you, are His way of getting your heart ready for the next part of your life. Sometimes we miss these times because we are too busy, but God works best when things are quiet. There is a strong message in the Bible that the Lord is close to everyone who calls on Him. Psalm 145:18 says that God is with all who call on Him, even when you can't see Him. God is working, even when it's quiet. He might not be setting off fireworks or quakes to get your attention. He might be giving you a subtle push in the spirit world, and you might not even know it's a sign at first. But if you pay attention, God will show you something new. During those quiet times, that quiet word is the start of change. And pay attention when God talks to you in the quiet, because that's when it happens most of the time. Even in the smallest ways, He plants the seeds for the biggest changes in your life. I know there are prayers. For years you've been hoping for breakthroughs, healing, direction, and a sense of who you are. God may not seem to be listening to your prayers, and you may even start to doubt that He is hearing you at all. Today I want to tell you that God has heard your prayers. The prayers you say will bring you some of the best things in life. God doesn't always answer prayers the way we want Him to. Those prayers may not have been answered. But sometimes the answer is no, not because He doesn't love us, but because He has something better in store for us. But sometimes the answer is not yet. We're getting ready for what's coming, and sometimes the answer is He's keeping quiet to teach us how to trust Him while we wait. But if you look back on your life, you may notice that some of the best things that happened to you were not because your prayers were answered, not the way you thought it would, but because of the prayers that were answered in ways you never thought possible. God is always there. He is moving rocks, opening doors, and planning your life behind the scenes where you can't see it. You don't understand how the things we want most aren't always the things that God knows are best for us, but He gives us exactly what we want, right place at the right time. You may not be aware of the gifts in your life right now. Bless you because they came in strange forms, and if you keep trusting God, you'll see that His plans for... Good morning, friends. If you're feeling down today, remember that you are stronger than anything you could have thought. I want you to know that God is working in your life even though things will never change. You might not be able to see or feel it right now, but He is working in ways that will change your life for good. The problems you're having now aren't the end of your story. They mark the start of a new part. The quiet times you have are not unimportant. These are the times when God wants to talk to you, and all of your prayers, even the ones that don't seem to be answered, are being heard. God is about to do something, as you may not fully understand yet, amazing in your life, and He's getting you ready for something bigger than you ever thought possible. Do not give up. Do not lose heart. Do not trust. Do not pray. Do not believe, because the best is yet to come. When you think back on this, you'll see how God used what you didn't expect to change your life for good. The problems and issues you face are not just roadblocks to... It is easy to get through hard times because they are part of a spiritual plan for your growth and change. Get so stressed out from bad things happening that you think the problems you're going through are the... It may seem like the end of the road, but I want to encourage you today to look at your problems in a different way. They are not the end. They're not the end of your story. They're just the start of a new one. Every trial you face has the bow. Often, the most profound changes in our lives happen when things are at their worst. The best chances to change, grow, and become the person we were always meant to be. When everything seems hopeless, remember that things need to fall apart sometimes so that something better can come around. You and your partner may not realize it at the time, but your problems are paving the way for something bigger that will show itself in due time. Think about how gold is refined. It doesn't stay in its raw, unformed state. It needs to be cooked very high. It has to be heated and cleaned by intense fire before it can shine in all its beauty, just like we have to be refined. During hard times in life, the fire of suffering doesn't destroy us. It makes us stronger. We get rid of the things that keep us from reaching our full potential, leaving behind a stronger, more resilient version of... We learn what we're really capable of and find strength we never knew we had when we're going through hard times. It's also important to remember that struggles often show us our deeper meaning when we go through them. When things get tough, we have to dig deep inside to find the faith, courage, and strength we need. We may not have known we had the patience and persistence that this process helps us match more closely with our God-given calling us as we start to see things differently. The problems you're having may be getting you ready for a part or task you don't fully understand yet, but is important to the story as a whole. God has a plan for your life, and it's often through the hard times that you learn to be wise. Kindness that will help other people in the future. God never wastes a moment of pain. Even if you can't fully see it right now, trouble is there for a reason. There is a bigger plan at work, a divine story that plays out through a series of random events or pointless pain. Both the good times and the bad. When you look back on your life, you may realize that the hardest times were the ones that helped you understand God better, feel more joy, and grow closer to Him. So don't be afraid to share them. When things get tough in life, don't see them as signs of loss or failure. Instead, see them as opportunities to grow and learn. Chances to grow, chances for God to shape you into the person He wants you to be, made you. And the pain you're feeling now is not the end of your story. It's just a part in a much bigger one. God is writing a bigger story, and you are meant to be a part of it. There are bigger things that will be exposed at the right time. Keep believing and trusting, and remember, problems don't mean the end. They often mean the start of something new, beautiful, and much bigger than you could ever think of. Change and God's direction often come in the strangest ways, not through grand plans, not through big actions or dramatic events, but through small, quiet moments that catch us off guard when we least expect them. People often try to get clarity by making noise and looking for loud signs or clear, unmistakable messages. That's clear and can't be argued with. But what we don't understand is that God doesn't always work in loud. He mostly speaks to us in the stillness of our hearts when we are alone with our thoughts. What other ways does He use? Sometimes when it's quiet, the world around us is quiet and our thoughts are free of other things. Even when things don't seem important or interesting, God is often getting us ready for what the world might be like next. Busy all around you, and it may seem like everything is moving quickly, but in those short moments of stillness, God is trying to talk to your spirit directly. These times are easy to miss because they don't seem important. Even though they don't seem important, these are the times when God is working in your life, planting seeds of peace and inspiration. Understanding. Take a moment to think about the times in your life when you felt the most at peace or with yourself. Many of us have had times when, out of the blue, we felt a strong sense of comfort or direction. Maybe it was when you're by yourself in a quiet room or when you have time to think. Sometimes the smallest things are where God is most present, giving us advice and direction for the next steps in our lives. Journey. In a noisy world, it's easy to lose focus and get sidetracked. Because of these times of divine intervention, we've learned that change has to be big, loud, and overwhelming, be real or important, but many of the most deep times of growth and change happen when we're the most alone. God is never far away. He's always close by and speaking to us. He wants us to learn how to quiet our minds long enough to hear Him. God may seem quiet at times, but that doesn't mean He's not listening. His absence is a call for us to get closer to Him and let Him guide us more fully in these quiet times. There are places where we can hear His words better, and that's where He gently leads us to change, urging us to do so. Taking steps we might not have thought of otherwise when we feel calm or a sudden sense of, if you feel inspired, see it for what it is, God's direction shaping what you should do next. Steps. Sometimes God's direction doesn't come in the form of big revelations or sudden insights. It feels like a soft nudge in the spirit, a small thought that grows over time. It's in these quiet nudges that we find joy. Let us connect our hearts with God's will without anyone getting in the way. They are the most open and vulnerable to change. God is getting us ready to move by blocking out noise and other distractions during these times. We can move forward to make choices and accept the path He has set out for us remember to enjoy the quiet times as you go through life and look for times to be alone, even if they seem impossible at times. Even if it seems small or unimportant, believe that God is working in you right now. Close your eyes and listen for His words. you might find that the advice you've been looking for has been waiting for you the whole time. To stop, think, and listen for his voice so that the next time when you're feeling calm, don't rush through it or brush it off as unimportant. It's possible that this is exactly when God is getting you ready for what's next, by slowly helping you understand a new direction or a renewed sense of purpose in life. We all have times when we don't know what to do and pray for. Some things we really want, like health, success, love, or direction. And sometimes we feel the weight of, when we pray and wait and our prayers don't seem to be heard, it's easy to wonder if God hears us or if he's just not interested. Taking our needs into account, but I want to tell you today that God's timing is perfect, and the delay or quiet you may be feeling doesn't mean that God isn't listening to you, has forgotten about you. It's all part of God's plan. Time doesn't matter to God. We live in a world where time feels like it's always pushing against us. Things have to happen at a certain time, and if they don't, we feel like we're missing out on something important. But God sees things differently. He sees the beginning and end of everything, and he knows exactly when the right time will come for you. He has a great sense of timing that comes from he loves us and is wise. Sometimes we ask for something and get it. It can be hard to accept solutions like no or not yet because we want things to be solved right away. We want our prayers to be answered the way we want them to be. But I want you to know that no or not yet is not the same thing as denial. God is protecting you and leading you to something even better than what you asked for. Asked for at first. Imagine for a moment that you are a child asking your parent. As a child, you might not understand why your parent tells you to wait or not yet for something, like a treat or a toy. Parents are smart enough to see the bigger picture. They know that giving you that treat or toy at the wrong time is not good for you. It could hurt you or not be the best choice for you at that time in your life, just like God is our loving parent. Father knows that sometimes he has to wait for what's best for us. We want him to prepare us for the future he's making for us, but we don't always see it. We only see a small part of the bigger picture, which is why it can be hard to trust God's plan. The puzzle. Even though God is in charge of everything and knows everything, there may be lessons to learn. It's easy to think that we need to build character or wait for the right conditions to come together before we can step into the gift we want. To get angry during these times of waiting. But keep in mind that God is every pause and moment of silence is planned by people working behind the scenes, is part of his great plan. The Bible says that everything happens for a reason. Verse 8 says that all things work together for the good of those who love him. This means that no matter how long we have to wait or how quiet things seem, God is always at work in our lives. His plan is good, even when we can't see it. He promised to take care of us at just the right time. Think about the seasons there were times in your life when you didn't see how great God's timing was. Discover why something didn't go as planned, only to find out later that the wait led to something better, or God kept you safe from something bad. It may have taken you years to understand it, but it was the right time in the end. Always clears up when you think your prayers are unanswered. I want you to believe that God is not ignoring you, but is listening. And he's getting you ready for something you can't even imagine. The wait, the silence, or the no is part of a tool of Von. There may be a bigger plan going on in your life that you can't see right now, but if you keep faith and trust in time, you'll see that God's answers are always for the best. Good things will happen in the right time, so don't give up when you have to wait. Know that he is always working, even if you don't understand it. He is always leading you toward that's better than anything you could have planned for yourself. Keep praying and asking God to help you, and know that everything will work out just the way he planned in his perfect time. Remember that God is never late. Everything that happens in your life is always just right at the right time for his praise and your good. The ability to put us in tough situations when everything seems to be going wrong, when we feel like we can't get past something, when we're alone and unsure, and when it's simple to give up hope when you wonder why things are going wrong and if God is really in charge. Even though they aren't there, it's during hard times that faith is not only important but necessary. When you have real faith, you don't expect to never fight or hurt. You trust that even when things look bad, good things will happen. Even when things are bad, God is working behind the scenes to make things better. Not always makes sense at the time, and we may feel like God is far away, but we must remember that God never leaves us. For us, His presence is not based on what we see or feel. The Bible says that the Lord is close to us and always working for us, even when we can't see it. Psalm 34:18. Even when things are at their worst, God heals the brokenhearted and saves the crushed in spirit. When we are weak, God is closest to us. He is our power. He does some of His deeper work in us when we are broken and open. The hard times we go through are not punishments from God. They are chances for us to grow stronger so that we can handle hard times and trust Him more. We tend to think of problems as bad or something we want to avoid, but in fact they are the very... God uses things to get us ready for the future He has planned. These things make us better, like gold being refined in a fire. These trials test our faith, making us more focused on God's plan for our lives and making us better in our faith. Build us up and get us ready for His plans for us, even if we can't see them. But don't fully understand or see them. Think about times in your life when you were having problems that, looking back, you may not have known it at the time, but those obstacles made you smarter, stronger, and more. They were kind, and maybe they led you to a place where you could help someone else who was going through the same thing. God uses hard times to make us stronger and teach us how to depend on Him. In our times of struggle, God teaches us to be fully present and ready for the gifts and chances that lie ahead, that we can really trust God. Faith doesn't grow when things are easy, and comfort that grows in hard times when things are going well. People often trust God without much trouble, but we need to hold on to our faith when things look bad. God is still working in our lives even when we don't know why things are happening or when we think we've reached the end of our rope. In the background, doing things we can't see and getting us ready for something bigger than what we're going through now. Stay true. Even when things are hard, He has promised that He will never leave us or forsake us. He promised that everything would work out for the good of those who love Him, so when things get hard, hold on. Don't let your problems change what you believe. Trust that God is working even when you can't see it. Notice right away that He is getting you ready, improving you, and giving you the tools you need. Remember that God doesn't waste our pain as you prepare for what's to come. Every trouble, every hurt, and every moment of struggle is part of His bigger plan for us, even if we don't understand it. We don't understand the why yet. We can trust that He is using everything to shape us for the future. He's calling us to the hard times you're going through now. Aren't the end of your story. They're just getting you ready for the next part that God has planned for you. Don't give up when things get hard. Keep your faith strong. Even if the way ahead doesn't seem clear, know that God is busy, even when it's quiet, and that He's getting you ready for something bigger than you can imagine. You are not punished by the things you face. They are steps toward becoming the person you were meant to be. Hold on to your prowlers. Trust that the same God who has been faithful in the past will also be faithful in the future. In real life, we often say this. Sometimes we wait for blessings, hoping for the things we ask for and dreaming of the rewards we think we deserve. We picture benefits in very specific ways. The perfect job, the ideal relationship. We hope for a good relationship, stable finances, or even good health. But what if the blessings we're waiting for don't always come our way? What if God's gifts come in ways we don't expect them to? Maybe they come through something we don't see at first. When problems arise or prayers aren't answered, it's in these surprising ways that God's wisdom shows up and love shine through, giving us more than we could have dreamed when we're going through hard times. When we go through hard times, we often see them as failures, problems, or signs that God has left us. But the truth is that the problems we're having can also be the gifts we've been given. It's easy to miss them when we're asking for wrapped in different boxes. Focused only on what we want and how we think things will go, But if we change how we look at things, we can start to see that what seems like a loss may actually be setting up something bigger. God's blessings aren't always instant or clear. He doesn't answer our prayers by giving us exactly what we think we want, but by helping us through something hard. That gives us important lessons. These lessons, even if they are painful at times, often lead to better chances. Having stronger faith and deeper ties by trusting God through these hard times helps us find new strengths. Sometimes without answers, they taught us things we wouldn't have learned any other way. Prayers really are the best gifts that can come our way. We can pray for a specific job or thing. If we look for a connection or a way to solve a problem and it doesn't work out the way we thought it would, we might feel rejected. When we look back, we often see that God had a better plan all along. On the way to the job we wanted, we might have found ourselves in a relationship we didn't want. Could have caused more harm than good, or the answer we sought might not have been the best one. God is smarter than we are, and the solutions to our prayers are often more in line with what we want. Long-term happiness and prosperity than what we first think, the Bible tells us. 558:9 tells us, "My thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways. Just like the sky is higher than the ground, so are my ways and yours." This verse does a great job of showing that God sees the bigger picture our whole lives, even when we can't. Often only see the small picture in front of us. His ways are higher and His wisdom is much greater than our knowledge, and sometimes He hides something from us. He puts us through hard times because He knows they will help us grow or because He has something better in store for us. It will be worth it in the end. When you think back on your life, remember the good times or heartache. Now, look at where you are now. How many of those challenges have failed or gone unanswered? If your prayers didn't come true, maybe the job you didn't get led you to a field that makes you happy, passionate. Maybe the breakup made room for a better, more loving relationship. Maybe the times of trouble and uncertainty brought you closer to God and made you trust His plans for you more. Your life by learning to see the gifts that are hiding in plain sight. We grow in our respect for God's knowledge and timing. We start to understand that His love for us it's not just found in times of ease and success. It's also there when things are hard and you have to wait. Every ignored prayer and every detour in our plans can become a chance to learn to trust God and experience His bigger plan for our lives. So the next time you're having a hard time or feeling like your prayers aren't being heard, try to stop focusing on the bad things that happened and ask God to show you the good things that are buried. In that case, ask Him to help you see how He is leading you through it and getting you ready for something bigger. As you do this, you'll see that God's gifts often come in ways we don't expect. We didn't expect them, but they turned out to be just what we needed in the end. We all have times when we don't know what will happen, when problems never end, and when the future looks cloudy. Sometimes it seems like nothing is going the way we want or expect it to. It's easy to start to question that things are going to work out. I want to know if things will ever get better and if there is something more in store for us in the future. Remind you of a strong truth. The best is yet to come. During hard times, it's hard to see past the problems. Our thoughts are focused on the problems, the disappointments, fears that come up because of what's going on in our lives. But even when it seems like everything is falling apart, God is still there. Work is being done behind the scenes on something bigger for you, even if you can't see or feel it. There is a divine change happening in your life that is getting you ready for a future that is much bigger than you thought possible. Have ever thought that God doesn't waste a single moment of your life? He has a bigger plan than ours, and every disappointment, heartache, and battle serves that plan. He knows just the right time to speak to us, and we may only see a small part of the slide. God sees the whole puzzle right now, and He is putting all the pieces together in your life so that they fit together the way He wants them to. What you're going through now is not the end of your story. It's just the beginning. There is a part of the process that is taking you to something much bigger. Jeremiah 29. 11 has a beautiful line that says, "For I know the plans I have for you," which means that the Lord knows what is best for us, and not for bad, to give you a future and hope. This verse tells us that God has good plans for us even when things go wrong. Even when we can't see how to get better, life seems hard. But God is working on a future full of hope, joy, and He always keeps His promises. And the future He has planned for you is better than anything you could have imagined. When things get hard, we can lose sight of this truth, but it's only then that we need to keep believing. Don't give up praying and trusting that God is always at work, even when we can't see it. He is changing you. You might not be able to see life right now, but it's happening. Just like a seed grows in dark dirt, God's work in you might be hidden before it bursts into the light. Something amazing is going to happen because it was hidden for a season. Think about the seasons in your life when you've grown, even if it didn't happen right away. Sometimes the best things take time to happen. You have to walk through the desert, wait, and deal with problems in order to be ready for the gifts that are on the way. God is not only getting your situation ready, but He is also getting you ready by improving You are being shaped for the future that He has planned by building your character, your faith, and your trust in Him. Ready for you. The Bible is full of stories about people who went through terrible things. Even though they were going through hard times, God was working behind the scenes to get them ready for something bigger. For example, Joseph was wrong. By his brothers sold into slavery and put in jail. It looked like even though his goals were dashed, God was with him the whole time. Eventually, Joseph rose to power in Egypt and saved many people. Think of David, who was anointed to be king, but had to wait years while facing betrayal and hardship before he took his place on the throne. Their struggles were not in vain. They were part of the process that led to the fulfillment of God's promises. The same is true for you. The struggles you are facing today are not the final chapter of your story. The setbacks, the heartbreak, the uncertainty, they are all part of the journey that is leading you towards something greater. The best is not behind you. It is ahead of you. God is working things out for your good, even in the midst of what seems like chaos. He is shaping you, guiding you, and preparing you for the amazing future He has already planned for you. So don't lose heart, even when the road feels long and difficult. Remember that God's promises remain true. Keep trusting Him, keep praying, and keep believing. The transformation He's working in your life is setting you up for something far greater than you could ever imagine. The best is yet to come, and your future is filled with hope, joy, and the fulfillment of God's perfect plan. No matter what you're facing today, know that God's work in your life is far from over. He is always working on your behalf, and He has something incredible in store for your future. Hold on to that hope, because the best is yet to come. Today I want to talk to you about something that all of us have trouble with at some point. In the quiet parts of our hearts and minds, we fight this battle. Something that takes away our peace, our happiness, and our freedom is things are too heavy for me to carry. That thing is a fear. I know many of you are people in this room right now who are carrying big loads. Maybe you're worried. Think about your health, your money, your family, your future, and the weight of your stress and fears can be too much to bear, don't you agree? You wake up with a dull ache in your chest. You're tired at night, and your mind is still running with all the bad things that could happen and the things you can't change. Today, though, I want you to hear this very clearly. You don't have to carry that weight. That's right. God didn't want you to worry, fear, or stress alone. Take those things on your own, but we do it, right? We try to carry taking on the weight of the world, we try to make sense of everything. We think we have full power over our lives, but deep down we know that we don't. Can't we try to turn things around, fix them, or force them to fit? It's tiring, but here's the truth. You don't have to fix everything. You don't have to know everything. You don't have to figure it all out to have power, because someone else is in charge. Someone who has been there from the start. Someone who knows your heart, how hard things are for you, and I'm talking about God, who is ready and willing to carry that load for you. God made the world and knows everything about your life, down to the hairs on your head and the tears that fall. When we give up our worries and put our fears and worries at his feet, we are free from your eyes. Not only are we saying we can't do everything on our own, but we also trust the one who can until we give up. We find a peace that goes beyond when we let God lead us and take charge of every situation. When we understand, we find a peace that is greater than the world's chaos. I know it's hard all around us. I know you've been hurt. I know the world doesn't understand. Always make sense. I know you've been through tough times that you thought you could never get through, but you did. You no longer have to worry about having to do it by yourself. There is a way. Going forward is to put your trust in God and let him handle your life. Give him the keys and let him lead you. You'll find a freedom you never thought possible. You can only be free when you let go of your worries and fears of charge and let God take charge. Think about what it would be like. Think for a moment about what it would be like to stop carrying that weight. Would it be nice to wake up in the morning without that knot in your stomach and that weight on your shoulders? And picture yourself going about your day with the peace that comes from knowing God is in charge, he has your back, and he's leading you step by step. Can you picture it? Can you feel that comfort? But here's the catch. You have to decide to stop thinking and trust God. It's not something that just happens. You choose to do it. Every day, you have to decide to let go of your worries, fears, and questions. You have to choose to accept God's plan even when you don't understand it. I know that's hard because I've been there and dealt with it. In times of doubt and fear, I've faced problems that seemed impossible to solve. There were times when I thought I couldn't go on. But here's what I've learned. When I found peace when I stopped trying to fix everything myself and begun to trust God with my life. When I found peace of mind. God doesn't want you to be stressed out. Let him carry that load for you, he says. No matter what you're going through today, he can do it. God is with you no matter what you've been through or how bad things look. Bigger than your worries and fears, and he's ready to show you the way to something better, something bigger, something you could never dream. That's all he asks for. If you trust him to let go, you can stop trying to control everything that happens. Instead, trust that he will keep his word and know that he is with you, and that he will never leave you or forget about you. This isn't about being passive. Friends, this is about what you do, what you live by your faith, what you trust. The choice to believe that God is who he says he is and will do what he says he will do. He will do what he says he will do. We can't just sit back and do nothing. We need to take a step of faith. People choose to accept God even when they can't see the whole picture. You might ask yourself, but what if I make the wrong choice? What if I trust God when the way forward doesn't seem clear? And things don't go the way I thought they would? I know that fear. I know you're scared, but I want to tell you of something. God has a plan for your life, bigger than yours, even when things don't go the way you plan. Should remember that God is using every moment, even when the road is rough and unclear. Shape you to help you grow and become a better person. Keep in mind that God is not asking for perfection. He's asking for submission. You need to trust him and follow him step by step without being afraid. Not have to worry. And he always says that he will lead you. You might not know what tomorrow brings or how to get there. Even though things will be hard, know this. God knows, and he's with you. Will lead you through every step, every struggle, and every fear. Today, I challenge you to cut down on your stress and lay down. Take your weight off and stop carrying things you weren't meant to. I dare you to put your trust in God with no matter what your hopes, fears, or goals are, God has a plan for you. There is a way forward for you, and it's not through your own power or understanding. It's through his help. When you trust him and let go of your fears, it's because he leads you that make you feel down. You'll feel peace like you've never felt before. So friends, I want to know if you trust him. Will you stop thinking and let God will lead you? You have a choice. Peace is waiting for you. Will you take it? You should give up your fears and let God lead you. Worry is a burden that A lot of us carry around a lot of weight without realizing how much it changes our lives. It quietly takes our peace and the joy we're meant to feel by getting into our hearts and minds. Every day we carry an unseen weight that can feel so heavy. We feel like we have the weight of the world on our shoulders, but we don't always know how much it affects other people. Us until we feel drained, worn out, or detached from what's important. When we worry, we can't stop thinking about what ifs. What if my health gets worse? What if I lose my job? What if my family or kids have a hard time? What if things don't go as planned in the future? Then I hope these thoughts stay with us and make our fears and doubts stronger. The weight of them can feel heavy. It's so bad that we try to solve these problems in our heads by picturing every possible outcome and getting ready for it. What could happen, but the more we think about it, the worse things get. It's simple to believe that we worry that by taking action on our problems, we're being responsible or bold, but the truth is that we're not. Worry doesn't help with anything. It makes you more afraid and obscures your vision. Worry clouds our thinking, and we don't pay attention to the present or the things we can control. Instead, we're caught in a cycle of stress that keeps us from getting the peace and understanding we need. For some reason, worry makes us feel like we need to hold on to something in order to keep ourselves safe. In fact, it only holds us back and keeps us from enjoying the good things in life. Stop worrying today about living in the present and believing that everything will go as planned. Blocks us from the good things God has planned for us instead of focused on how we can receive them. We're still stuck in the muck of what could go wrong, and the fight with worry affects everyone, not just people of a certain age or stage of life. Whether you're young and trying to figure out what you want to do with your life, or older and worried about your health or weight. You can think about money problems at any time. It doesn't matter if you could be a parent, a single person, a student, or the owner of a business. The danger of worry is always there. It's as if the more we care about something, the more likely we are to give in to worry. We love our dreams and hope that the futures we hope for can all come true. Sources of stress if we let fear take root in our minds. But no matter how, everyone goes through this, and we're not meant to do it alone. Worry doesn't help us keep us safe or get us ready it doesn't help us plan for the future or deal with life's problems. Instead, it takes away our happiness that we have access to right now, makes us worried, scared, and we feel too much, which keeps us from living the life we were meant to live, even if we must understand that while worrying is a normal reaction to life's, having doubts is not the way to peace. It's a thief who takes what we have. Need our happiness, peace of mind, and the ability to live in the present the most. The hardest part is that we don't always know we're letting it steal from us until it's too late. Tired and worn out, but there's a better way to let go of the load. Give up your worries and believe in something bigger than yourself to find freedom. It starts with realizing that worrying isn't the answer, no matter how much we think it's right, is. The answer is to give up, taking our worries to God and accepting the peace that doesn't come from anything else. Not because we think we know all the answers, but because we believe we are not the only ones going through this. Doesn't run our lives or decide what will happen. We start to free ourselves from its hold on us. We can enter a place where we let faith, trust, and peace lead us. We can live our lives without being held back by fear, and in that space we can start to take a deep breath, get clear, and feel the joy that has been waiting. There has always been something very deep about realizing that from the very beginning, God, we were never meant to carry our cross alone. God made us to be part of a community, to connect with each other, and to live our lives in relationship with Him. But all too often, the things we're afraid of, question, and worry about make us feel like we have to carry them. We try to handle everything on our own because we think we are the only ones strong enough to do it. Heavy things that life throws at us, but we were never meant to do this. God is the only one who made the world and the stars. Oceans knows every part of our lives and all the problems we have. There will be times when we doubt, when we feel like our worries are too much for us to handle, and in His infinite love, God has promised us that we don't have to carry our problems alone. We have a God who will help us, is ready to take our worries away if we believe him and let go of this promise. God's call to let go and let him lead us is one of the most beautiful gifts we can receive. When we try to keep track of every part of our lives, we often find that our problems get worse. We get stuck in a circle of fear and worry. But when we put our trust in when we give him our worries and let him guide us, we let a peace come in, that peace that goes beyond understanding. It's a peace that doesn't depend on what's going on around us. It's a peace. Having faith in God means being sure that he is with us, leading us, and has a bigger plan for our lives. We were never meant to carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, no matter how much we might want to. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This isn't just a friendly request. It's a promise that there is no worry that God won't take away if we bring them to him. Rest is good for our bodies, but it's also good for our thoughts and hearts. Think about how much better our lives would be if we really believed that God is carrying our worries for us. What would happen to our mood if we let him? We shouldn't hold on to our fears when we trust that God will take care of them. We're not saying that our problems don't matter. We're just recognizing that there is someone far away who does. They are bigger than us and can handle them. We know that even though we may not be able to trust God to give him all the answers or solutions he needs. It's not always easy to get help, especially when we can't see the whole picture. It's normal to want to be in charge of our lives, know what's coming up, and have a plan for every part of our lives. Being able to trust God means that he doesn't always show us he shows us the way, and he doesn't expect us to know everything. He wants us to believe that he is leading us to something good, even if we don't understand it. We still can't see the way when we let go of power and let God's lead us. We don't have to worry about getting through life on our own. We don't have to figure it all out on our own. We can worry about nothing because we know that God is leading us. He knows the best way for us to live our lives and is always with us. In the worst times, it's important to remember that God's direction doesn't always look the way we think it will. Though he sometimes takes us through hard times or seasons of waiting, his love is always with us. The direction is there. Even when we don't know why things are going the way they are, we can trust it. That God is changing us and growing us behind the scenes for our good, for something bigger. When we let God lead us, we're telling him, I trust you. I trust that you know what is best. I believe that you will never leave me and that you will show me the right way, even when I can't. And when we make that choice, when we let go of our fears and when God takes the lead, real peace comes into our hearts. God is ready to take away our worries. All we have to do is trust him. We should give up our problems and let him carry them when we do. Let's let him give us the peace, rest, and direction that only he can. Friends, know this. God never intended for you to carry your burdens by yourself. He is ready to take away your problems. All you have to do is let go and trust him. Let God lead you. Letting go of worry is not something that comes easily to most of us. In fact, it can feel like a battle all the time. Our instinct is to hold on, holding on tight to what we know, to try to take charge of our lives and fix anything that's wrong or unclear. We worry a lot about the future, but if we're being honest, we know that we can't change it. We can't change what happens, and we certainly can't guess what will happen tomorrow, but we keep worrying because we think that if we hold on to it, we can solve the problem or ease the pain. But here's the catch. The truth is that letting go of worry is a choice that needs faith. That's right. Faith isn't something we can call on whenever we want. When we make a choice or promise in the face of doubt, it's called, no matter what, we can believe that God has a good plan for our lives. In the big picture, it means letting go of our need to be in charge. Give up the thought that God is taking us somewhere much better than we thought. It's not enough to believe when things are going well. Faith is also about believing when things are bad. When things don't make sense, believing means putting your faith in God's plan. In times when we can't see how to move forward, faith comes in handy. Comes in when we're lost, when the way isn't clear, and when our fears get too much, faith gives us the strength to let go and trust in. By choosing faith over fear, we are putting our trust in something bigger than ourselves. Situations, no matter how hard or unclear they may seem, it's about giving up the need to be in charge of every part of our lives and believing that God has a plan for us that is better than anything we could make up. Our faith means that we know that God is still with us, even when things are hard. At work, it's trusting that He's making the most of every situation, task. Every loss and even every failure serves a bigger goal that we might not always see. Understand why we're going through hard times, but faith tells us that God has a reason and a plan for everything. Think about it. God sees the whole picture. He knows the starting from the end and what's coming up next. He knows how every part of our story fits together, but we only know. Look at the small part of life we're living right now. Look at the problems and hurdles we face. We're going through and the unknown of what's next, but God sees past that. He knows what will happen and how to get there, and He is leading us there. What a wonderful thing there is when we choose faith over worry. We agree with God that He knows better than us, and we choose to think that His plan is better, that His time is right, and that His ways are. We don't always find it easy to do this, especially when life feels a lot to handle and we can't see where the road ends. But the great thing about faith is that it doesn't need us to have all the answers. Answers we just have to trust. Faith is also about letting go of the need. It's not always easy to understand why people choose faith. Getting over the idea that we need to know everything about how things will go and have all the answers. God doesn't promise to tell us everything ahead of time. He just wants us to trust Him with the things we can't understand. And here's something strong. When we choose hope over worry, to start to feel the peace that goes beyond understanding. It's the peace that comes from knowing we're not taking this path alone. Believing that God is in charge, even when we don't feel like it, is what gives us peace out of our hands. And that peace lets us focus on the here and now instead. Don't let stress take over your life. Being afraid of what might happen in the future is not good. Passive voice is a brave way to say, I might not know all the answers, but I trust that God does. No idea what will happen, but I know that God is holding me. It means deciding to trust in His goodness even when things look bad, when things aren't clear. And by doing so, we let ourselves to trusting in a God who is real will give you peace, joy, and freedom. Always loyal. Even when life gets hard, we will always have the. If you have to choose between worry and hope, worry will always be there in the back of our minds. But every time we choose hope, when we believe God instead of being afraid, we move closer to the. God has promised peace, so I dare you today to fight worry and fear when they come up. Threatens to take over. Trust, have faith, and believe. If you think that God knows better than you, He will lead you when it's not clear what to do next, and that's when faith will give you peace that no other thing can. There is deep strength in giving up, a strength that we can only find when we finally let go of the things that are holding us back. So often we live our lives with our fists clenched, hanging on to our fears, worries, and wants as if they were real, are our duty to oversee and handle. And we believe that by holding on tight to everything, we protect ourselves and make sure we don't lose what we value. But the more we hold on to, the more we take away. Giving up the peace and freedom we want doesn't come easily to us. It doesn't make sense to us since we're taught from a young age we need to fight for what we want, try to take charge of our lives, and make plans for the future, and make certain that everything goes our way. Giving up feels like weakness to our. By nature, it makes us want to give up and accept defeat. But the truth is, giving up is not a sign of weakness. It shows trust when we lose our. By giving our problems to God, we admit that we are not in charge, which is This is a strong act of faith that says, I can't do this by myself. I can't carry this. I can't see the whole picture of this weight, but I know you can, God. When we surrender, we realize that we don't need to know everything, and that's okay. God already knows. Giving up is what we need to do before we even ask for it. Desire to be in charge of everything and let God lead our lives. Being aware of our lives doesn't mean we stop making choices or turn into on our journey. Surrendering means giving up the need to control the past. It's about giving in and believing that God is at work in the process. Letting God lead us means believing that He knows the best way to do things even when we can't see it. Guide us in the right direction, step by step, moment by moment, way that is best for us. When we give up, we make room for God's. We can feel peace in our hearts, and this peace is unlike anything else in the world. The peace that God gives is better than all of them. It doesn't make sense to understand when you're going through hard times, pain, or confusion. It doesn't come from having, I feel at peace when I believe God's plan, not when I have everything figured out or know how everything will work out. Sovereignty. Even when there's a storm going on around us, that's the kind of peace. This gives us peace of mind because we know that God has our backs and He guides us through everything that comes our way, but we often try to take charge of our circumstances in the hopes that doing so will make us feel safe or at peace. We think we'll be safe if we can just keep track of every detail, guess every result, and stop every failure. But the truth is, no matter how hard we try, we can't keep everything under control. Things in life are hard to plan for, which is why we need to give up. When we let go of our need to control, direct, or handle everything, we are free from the illusion of control. In this case, we let God work in our lives and stop fighting what we don't want to change, so we start to line up with what God is doing. This is not a passive submission. We choose every day to let go of the things we can't hold and trust God. To show us the way He wants us to go is one of the most beautiful things. The good thing about giving up control to God is that we don't have to know everything ahead of time. Before we even start the trip, God leads us step by step. He will never take us somewhere He hasn't already been. It is a great plan for our lives, and even if we don't always get it, believe that His way is the best way. Giving up also makes room for us. We can feel God's presence more deeply when we're not distracted by the need to be in charge of everything. We start to see how God is working in our lives through the people around us, because of the things we learn and the peaceful times He gives us. When we give up, we can hear His words and feel His presence more clearly. Getting to know Him better and trusting His advice more. Remember that giving up isn't something you do just once. You have to choose to do it every single day. We may want to take back control, worry about the future, and try to make the best of our situations, but every day we can resist that urge, choose to give up again, so we can let go of our fears and trust God again. The beautiful thing about giving up is that making the choice to accept God every day is an act of faith. When we give our problems to God, we stop worrying about what might happen in the future. We stop trying to do things when we feel like the weight of the world is on our shoulders. We stop relying on our own strength and start relying on God's strength. Let His peace fill the holes in our minds and hearts, making them whole again. The worry, fear, and lack of direction that used to control us, and as we let God lead us, little by little we start to walk in freedom, free from the weight of stress. Give up the need to control and the freedom to live fully in His company. This is not the end of our trip. It's the start of a new way of life where God's peace will hold us fast. His direction becomes our road when we decide to give up and find peace. Trust that God is always with us and will lead us in the right direction. A future much better than anything we could have imagined in a world that people around us feel like they need to be perfect, meet standards, and have everything under control. It's easy to fall into this mistake. Instead of thinking that God wants us to be perfect, we focus on the things we've done wrong, our flaws and mistakes, and we sometimes feel like we're falling. We're not perfect like God wants us to be, but God doesn't expect us to be. Truth be told, He never did what He asked for. What He really wants is trust. and obedience. This may seem strange at first, since aren't we meant to... You must try for holiness to become more like Christ. But holiness and perfection are not the same thing. Being perfect means not having any flaws, mistakes, or slip-ups. To be holy, you have to choose to follow God, to know His heart, and to live as a way to respect Him even when we're not perfect. This is not what God wants for us, that we become perfect, but that we walk in faith, trusting that He will. Please lead us even though we're not perfect. Obedience is the key. God doesn't want us to be perfect, but He does want us to trust Him. We trust Him enough to do what He tells us to do, even if there's no reason or way for us to understand why or how everything will work out. Flawless performance. If there comes a time in everyone's life when they have no choice but to turn around, when there is such a bad storm that it makes even the strongest people shake. It could be a disease or a financial crash, broken up with someone or lost someone close to you. Those times when we ask, why God, why? Why me? But the answer doesn't change. Always show up the way we expect. God's best answer is sometimes just this. Let me handle it then. There is peace that is greater than, I get it, but it doesn't come from getting. It comes from giving up. The fight in your own will end when put your trust in God's strength. Strength, everything changes. See the difference right away, but hope is, it's not about what you see, but who you are. You believe that God has not left you, has not forgotten about your pain, didn't hear your cries. He's not late. He is not quiet. He is working in ways I can't see it yet, but the question is, will you back off and let Him handle it? And let Him be God in your life? Life that you weren't meant to carry around with you. Burden. You weren't made to fix every problem or decide what will happen. We're made to accept, believe, and to rely on a dad who will always be there for you. Every time you try to carry it by yourself, it takes away your peace and joy, drains you. But when you give it to God, when you say, Lord, I give up. This is too big for me, but not too big for you. You use His power in your life. Some of the most powerful big steps forward don't start with action, but giving up is not a sign of weakness. It's smart to say you need help, because as soon as you give up on God the present, the fight is no longer yours, but His. When God takes over, the impossible turns into possible. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring, means you trust again. You don't have to give up. Hand it over. And when you do something, why you can't really control things, strange things happen. Heaven starts to let the doors that were moved for you close start to open. The chains that held you, you start to get over your fear that you start to fall apart because you're stuck. Now, the one who made the world is taking care of it. You may have been waiting a long time. You might be thinking, Lord, when will things get better? In this truth, God's wait is not a protest. His gift isn't being held back, getting it ready. And more than that, He's getting you ready. You might not think things are going on, but God is at work. Scenes. He's lining up situations. You can't move the hearts and bits around. See, and while you wait, He's not just putting together the gift He's making, because trust that is put to the test is faith. You can believe in God He is always on time, even when He is in a hurry. They might not understand how it works, but believe the promise He said. I will never leave you or forget about you. I promise that everything will work out for good to those who love Him. The Satu Merorate promise that no weapon would be made against you. Will do well. You're being punished. You're being put in being set up. You're not being forgotten. In search of something bigger, the breaking is often a part of the blessing Things have to fall apart for God to show. He knows where your real strength lies. Not in money, not in people, not in you, own skill, but only in Him. And yes, we understand how hard it is to let go. We want to be in charge of when and how. But real trust says, I don't. I just need to know how, and you do know who. You know the one who spoke the stars into being. You know the person who made the storm stop with a word. You know who fed? A few loaves fed a lot of people. Fish. The same God is taking care of your situation right now, so don't worry. Don't keep going over the worst-case situation. Stop letting your mind drain your energy, making things worse when only God can fix them. Take comfort in the fact that God sees a whole picture, but you only see a part of it. He can see the end from the start, knows the way. He already knows what you need. You may need it and how to get it to you. Napoleon Hill's view, faith and unlimited smarts. I feel like everything is breaking down. But from God's point of view, things are going as planned. You're not behind. You haven't been forgotten. You are where you are. God needs you to be and show up in your life. The question is, are you sure you can trust Him to stop? To fix things you weren't supposed to fix? A lot of people are tired not because of the problems in life, but because of not being willing to trust. Fear is heavy. Anxiety wears you down and takes away your power. But faith brings back. Faith renews faith. That's why God says, cast. I care about you because you care about me. Not just some of your cares, all of. Give them that health scare to God. Give that broken relationship to God. Give that money problem to God. Tell God about that hidden pain, and then keep an eye on what He does. He'll make a mess and call it a message. He'll make something beautiful out of something broken. He will take what was meant to hurt you and use it to your advantage. That's who He is, the one who fixes things and saves people. You could be a doctor who makes the way, or I've made too many, I thought. I made mistakes. Don't let shame stop you. That God has changed His mind about you. His kindness is new every morning, is still open, and He's not waiting for. He really wants you to be perfect, to be ready to trust, to give up and be ready to say, Lord, I'm done trying to do this without you. When you do that, peace will come. Not because things change for you right away, but because your heart did. Because right now, instead of going with you're walking with a lot of weight on your feet, gave the duty to the person who can, in fact, carry it. And that act of giving up and letting God handle it will grow your faith in ways you never thought possible. Pictured faith isn't just having faith when real life examples of trusting the process. Thoughts are easy to believe when they're tough, when there's no sign of miracle, no proof. Faith is being true to the promise, even though you want to run, and faith is waking up, saying, God, I still every morning. I trust you, and the more you do, your faith gets stronger, the more as you experience more, let go of power, His power. The more you give up, the more you rise. And what broke you once will start to bless you. What used to scare, you'll start to shape yourself. And if you lose, you'll turn into a story that gives other people hope. Don't quit, don't give up, don't stop. Putting faith in God and letting Him handle it. The wheel. Let Him calm down the storm. Let Him carry the load. Open the door. You don't know how much He loves you. He's already here, and you didn't even know it yet. There is no prayer that is not heard at work, not seen. No act of trust is wasted. God is with you even when you feel like you've been forgotten. Always there for you even when you feel weak. God knows how strong you are even when you feel lost. The exact spot where you are. Now He's telling your heart, let me handle it. I got this, I got you, He said. A time in the life of every believer where the trying gets too heavy, where fights wear down even the bravest hearts. You've tried, everything you prayed for came true. Worry that you've carried the weight of the whole world on your shoulders. If you just did more and prayed more, or pushed even more, things would finally open up, but nothing seems to change. The rock doesn't move. The storm doesn't stop. The answer doesn't come. It is at times like these that God, He starts to say, let go, give it to me. You see, we've been taught to think that being strong means never stop, never bend, never, not giving up. But in God's kingdom, giving up shows you your power. We won't get victory by never giving up. It comes when we finally give up and we get on our knees and say, Lord, I can't do this. I don't need you anymore. And in that holy pride, act of giving up something magical starts to move. The weight you were, what takes place when you let go, starts to lift. The thing that wasn't meant to carry, fear that wrapped around you, mind starts to open up, because God does not need your strength, but He does need your trust that giving up is not surrendering. Giving up, that's when you stop. Not being able to get through a locked door and start letting God in. Show you the one He's already started. Say, God, even if I don't, when you give up. Know that I choose to trust you, even if I don't see how I can say that you are that kind of giving up doesn't work. Come from being weak. It comes from deep. Spiritual growth is the choice to let God, through the Bible, the miracles of the world were made in moments of giving up. When Moses stood in front of when Pharaoh's army got close to the Red Sea, he didn't attack. He did what he was told. How God spoke to Esther when she was in danger of death for going into the king's court. She gave up her safety and said, if I die, I die. When Jesus was on his knees in the Garden of Gethsemane, he was so sad that he said, not my will, but yours be done. In each of speed. In these times, giving up set heaven in motion. God, everyone tells you to be in charge, urges you to give up power, and that the act of letting go is the key that opens His holy power in your life, because as long as you hold on tight to the rules, God won't force His way in. Eagerly anticipates your invitation, your faith. And when you give it to them, over to Him, He doesn't just fix things, He changes them. You might feel like giving up is risky, like you're going into the unknown. But friend, you're not going into void. You're putting your hands in of the person who knows the end from starting with the person who has never failed, the one who controls your future. So take a deep breath, free yourself, and let God handle it. He's only able to wait for the moment. The moment you give up is when He steps in, with power greater than anything you could. Think about or ask, what does waiting feel like? The hardest thing about hope is as you wait, worries start to whisper. Our hearts start to grow tired, and we wonder, if you think God has forgotten about us, you pray and you hope, and the silence grows. It feels like heaven has link between peace and having a goal. Stilled. But what if I told you that? It's not quiet. Giving up is actually getting ready. What if having to wait isn't a punishment? It's for a reason. God is never rushed, does not work according to when we expect things to happen, or when He told us to live our lives by the clock. Trust is what makes our hearts beat. At times, waiting may not seem like a big deal. But the truth is that something is going on, but you can't see it yet. When you put a seed in the ground, it grows. Put it below ground before it breaks. The same way, while you wait, God is working where you can't see. See, things move that you don't understand, exist, to get you ready for something, more than what you prayed for. God sometimes doesn't give the gift. He's mean, but not because he's evil. Kind, he knows that if he gave it soon it could crush you, so he waits. He tests your faith while he waits. He makes you more likable and gets rid of clutter, the anger, the fear, and the pride. Learns you to trust in someone who isn't him, only in what he gives. Doesn't want to give you the blessing. He wants you to be ready for it. Think about the Bible character, Joseph. Dream of being a great leader of favor, but he died before the dream came true. Was deceived, enslaved, jailed, and he was forgotten for years, but he became a man because God made him wait, who could take care of the duty of. In the dream, Joseph walked into the palace before taking a walk through he wouldn't have been smart enough to go to jail. The courage or the kindness to carry out his calling. The same is true for you. The wait isn't the end, you may be thinking about the training ground. How long do I have to wait now? God is the only one who really knows what you can find out. Not a second of every minute you wait is a waste of the plan. Every tear is seen. You can pray and God will hear you. He really loves you by using this time for your roots to grow so that when the winds will keep coming, how God gets stronger by letting go. Be stable. Waiting is the ground it's where you learn to have a strong faith. Lean not on what you know, but on his words. It's where hope grows, where peace is, and friendship is put to the test. It found not in results, but in presence. Don't hate the wait. Accept it and let it happen. Do its holy work in you, because God alone knows when the time is right. That's when the breakthrough will happen, and you'll see what he had ready for you. That was worth every second you spent. Putting your trust in him in the quiet. There are times when you feel like prayers are running into a wall. Everything you want is falling apart. Into a dead quiet. You turn around. It looks like nothing is moving. Things aren't changing for the people. The people around you aren't answering. And the weight you're carrying feels just as heavy like it was yesterday. And in those times, the enemy will try to persuade you that God has forgotten about you and that he's far away, quiet, or not interested. But that isn't true just because you can't see God. There's no work for him even though he's moving. In fact, some of God's most powerful moves take place behind the scenes far. Based on what the human eye can see, God knows how to work in the unknown. He sets up answers while you sleep. He talks to other people for you. Without telling you, he lines up chances, open doors and close them, often without making a sound. And when it looks like everything fits together, happened all of a sudden, but it was. Being ready the whole time. Think about a stage of a theater. When the curtain goes up and it looks like the room is dark, not much is going on, but behind the curtain, there's action. Setting up, fixing lights, getting ready. Thanks for getting everything ready for the show. The crowd only sees the last. The result was a polished show, but everything important took place that's how God works, in secret places. Stage of your life may still look good to you. Heaven is busy right now, though. There are divine arrangements that are, last but not least, your faith will grow. Set up. There are hearts being warmed. There are delays that make you mad, but are actually there to help. path changes that look like a mess but are leading you to the right in the end point. You might not know of any of it, but that doesn't make it less important. Really, the Bible tells us to walk by faith, not by sight. That's why it's not about seeing who God is that faith is doing. It has to do with thinking he is doing, even if you can. And the beautiful truth is when God shows what he's been working on will be more than you asked for, more than you thought of, and right on time. It might not do what you say, and it will work out. Great fit for his plan. The promotion you didn't think, the healing you almost given up on making peace with you thought was impossible. These are the types of wonders that God does. Secret hand. While you wait, keep. Trusting that you are confused, keep praying. Even though you're sad, keep praising. God has not stopped moving. He is still at work, hidden, and when the time comes, he'll pull back the curtain to see a story that was always love-filled and well-planned and strong as ever. You don't have to, you have to see it to believe it. Trust that the God who loves you is never bored, never far away, and never late. His job is right now, and one day you'll remember how great he was. Hey, everyone. Moving along, there comes a time when on wears you out more than letting go to. You lie awake at night playing, talks about imagining the worst events and trying to decide what will happen that are out of your reach. Worry starts to take away your happiness, your health, and even your strength. Even though you smile, inside you're sad, is worn out, and the noise of your having anxious thoughts, God is calling you softly. You to let go of everything and believe him. Worry is a thief. It takes the present moment and makes it scary about the future. It makes you believe that you need to fix everything and everyone and think about every possible result. But that was a weight on your back, never meant to carry. You weren't made to carry the world's weight. You were made so you could put your worries on the one who controls the whole world. Giving up doesn't mean letting go. Putting your faith in something fits in God's perfect, all-powerful plan. When you decide to let go of something, amazing things start to happen inside of you. Feel the fear's tight grip on you. Take off the pressure to be in charge. Starts to fade, and peace really sinks in. Peace that can't be broken begins to take root in. This peace in your heart doesn't come from the fact that everything around you is perfect. When you trust the one who is perfect above you, the Bible talks about it. More peaceful than anything else, knowing because it doesn't make sense, calms the storm, but not always outside. But inside you, think about the following on the boat in the middle of a storm. The waves crashed and the winds howled, screamed, and their hearts were full of fear. But Jesus, he was. He slept because he knew who was in power. And when they finally screamed, he stood there and tamed the sea with, he still does that today. He usually waits until we let go of problems. He waits while we try to fix it ourselves. Until we face him and tell him, let go is an act. Lord, I need you, of giving up. It means deciding to trust. God knows what you can't see. You don't know and loves you more than you can guess what it means. Letting go of the far-by long, result, the time, and the way into in his hands. The idea that even if things don't go as planned, they will go the way he wants them to, and he always wants what's best for you. Peace doesn't mean there are no troubles. It's God being there in the middle of them, So hold on to whatever you still have. Today, fear, power, regret, and anger. Be upset and lay it at his feet. Say it out loud as a prayer. Take a deep breath. Let it go and believe that he is big, smart enough to carry it, that they love you enough to walk with you through it. When you let go of your load, you make room for him in your heart. Peace. That peace will help you get through this. Keep you safe and strong in your life. Pain is one of, it goes into life's biggest riddles. It keeps coming back longer than we want, and often makes us wonder something, ring out in the quiet. Why me? Why now? What's the point of all this when we're going through a lot of pain? It seems like we're being punished and forgotten. But friend, God never wastes pain in his hands, even yours. The worst pain is turned into a tool for change. You figure out what's going on. It's not justice that you feel broken. Getting ready. Think about how a potter forms clay. Clay, before it turns into something, the clay has to be both pretty and helpful. Pressed, spun, and even put through the fire. The process is very fierce, and if clay could talk, it would probably scream in pain. But the artist knows what he's doing. He has a clear picture of what the clay will turn into God, building you through hard times and tears. Through the times, it seems like they won't break you, but they will. They're breaking you to kill you, to build you up every rough spot you go through. Could help you dig deeper into your power. Trusting God is simple. When things are going well, it's clear and there are many gifts. True faith is made in the fire. Those late-night prayers to God, with no answer, that your roots go deeper. It's during times of quiet that your more attention is paid to his whisper. And it's when everyone gives up that your heart comes to depend on his strength. Not Joseph was lied to by his and brothers who were tricked into being slaves, blamed and forgotten in jail. But later, when he was in charge, he looked at the people who were listening and said, what you thought was bad, God thought was good. That's the secret of divine. God can take what was meant to happen, to hurt you and heal you, raise you up and get you ready for something much bigger than you. Imagine that the pain is the stage for what you want. Don't let the enemy convince you that your pain is all the tears you've shed have no meaning. Every broken heart you've been through, what kinds of disappointments have you been through? God knows about it and can see it. But he says he'll pay for it. He uses pain to make your heart soft so you can teach kindness, to take away pride and raise sensitivity and encourage strength that doesn't come from you, from him. You might not know why. You can hold on to the who. For now, God still rules, and he is still good. Even though it's dark, he's still working. When you look back, you learn that the valley you thought would kill you really changed you into a better person. More brave, more caring, more loyal, and better ready for your calling. So don't look down on your pain. Don't run from it. Give it to God and let him use it. Let him talk through it. Let him help you where you need it most. I thought you were the weakest because it's not over when you're in pain. An early sign of something bigger and stronger chapter. And God is there the whole time, writing something lovely in you. Trust isn't always simple, especially when I'm not sure when prayers will go unanswered or when things don't work out, match up with what we wanted. Clarity, peace of mind, and a feeling of real trust get stronger, though, in giving up, not in having all the answers, putting your faith in the person who does. Don't ignore God just because you trust him. Facts. It means picking to believe that his world is smarter and bigger and better than anything we can see. Giving up and letting God take care of what things you can't change don't make you weak. It frees you and breaks the chains of worry and the stress of having to get it all together and trust. God is not an inactive act. It's one of the, you can do brave things because when you let go of the handle and open you're not giving up, hands. There's room for God to do what only he can get stronger in God's kingdom. Doesn't look like getting by on your own. It looks like dependence. You can find it in a heart's quiet whisper that, Lord, I don't get it, but I still trust you. Of trust doesn't happen overnight. Built day by day, choice by choice, as you learn to trust what he says. There's something other than your fears, strong about putting your trust in God when things aren't clear, faith steps in, becomes stable. That's where peace is, beginning to grow, not because there is peace all around you, but because your soul has found a place to stay. When storms hit, they will trust as things that keep you going when delays. Trust is stretched out longer than planned. What keeps you hopeful while you wait, and when things don't go as planned, having trust is what keeps you going, not being afraid. The truth is that the more, as you get older, trust God more. Extends you, makes you better, and makes the base of your life stronger. It teaches you not to depend on your own narrow view and start relying on the wisdom of a God who can do anything. When you let go of power, you start to see that you never had to carry it all. God's shoulders are wide in the first place, enough that his hands are steady enough that, since your heart is true, if you find you in a time when nothing makes sense, and the weight is too much, don't try to keep it together. Give it up and trust that the God made the sky and the earth, how you handle things. And as you do, fear, something will change inside of you, will weaken, but your strength will grow. Trust in your strong, quiet faith will turn into the thing that carries you. I'd like to talk to you today about something that we all have trouble with sometimes. We fight this battle in the quiet parts of our brains and hearts. It is a thing that takes away our freedom, peace, and happiness. I can't carry these heavy things. That thing makes me scared. I know a lot of you there are heavy people in this room right now. Maybe you're worried. Think about your family, your health, your money, your future, and the weight of Do you think that stress and fear can be too much to handle? You feel a dull pain in your chest when you wake up. Even though it's late, you can't stop thinking about all the bad things that might happen and the things you can't change. Today, though, I really want you to hear this. You don't have to carry that weight. Yes, God did not want you to stress, worry, or fear on your own. You should do those things on your own, but we do them, right? We do our best to carry we try to make sense of everything as the world presses down on us. We believe we have complete control over our lives, but we really understand that we don't. Can't we fix them, turn them around, or make them fit? There's no need to fix everything, even though it's hard work. You don't need to know everything or work everything out. To have power, because someone else is in charge, has been there for you from the beginning, someone who knows how hard things are for you and your heart. That would be God. He is ready and willing to carry that load for you. God made the world and knows everything about your life, right down to the tears you cry and the hairs on your head. We are free from your eyes when we give up our problems and cast our fears and worries at his feet. Not only do we say we can't do everything, but we also believe in the person who can until they give up. Let God lead us and handle everything, and we'll find peace that goes beyond words. We find peace that is stronger than the chaos in the world when we understand. I know everyone is having a hard time. I know you've been hurt. I know everyone else doesn't get it. Always makes sense. I know you've been through hard times you thought you'd never get through, but you did. There is now a way for you to do it without having to do it by yourself. Trusting God and letting Him run your life is the way to go. Let Him drive you, and you'll feel free in a way you never thought possible. Giving up your fears and problems is the only way to be free. Let God handle things. Picture what it would be like. Just think about what it would be like to not have to carry that weight. It would be nice to not have that knot in your stomach and that weight on your back when you wake up in the morning. Shoulders, and picture yourself going about your day feeling calm because you know. Do not worry, God is in charge and will guide you each step of the way. Step, can you see it? Can you feel the comfort? But here's the catch. You have to choose to stop giving it thought, and your choice to do it is what makes it happen, so trust God. You have to choose every day to let go of your fears, hopes, and questions. You have to agree with God's plan, even if you don't know what it is. I know how hard that is because I've been there and done that. I've had problems that seemed impossible to solve when I was scared and full of doubt. There were times when I thought I gave up, but here's what I learned. When I stopped trying to fix everything on my own and put my trust in God, I felt at peace. God doesn't want you to be stressed out. Let Him carry that load for you, He adds. No matter what you're going through today, He can do it. No matter what you've been through or how bad things look, God is with you. He's bigger than your fears and problems, and He's ready to lead you to something better. All He wants is something bigger, something you could never imagine. Trusting Him to let go means you don't have to be in charge of everything. Trust that He will keep His word and know that He is with you instead, and that He will never forget or leave you. This isn't about being inactive. Friends, this is about what you do, what you accept, what you live by your faith. You can choose to believe that God is who He says He is and will do what He says He will do. He'll keep His word. We can't do nothing. We need to have hope. Some people choose to believe in God even though they don't fully understand what it all means. When it doesn't look like you can move forward, you might ask, what if I make the wrong choice? What if I trust God? What if things don't go the way I thought they would? I understand that fear. I understand that you are scared, but I want to tell you something. God has a plan for your life, bigger than yours. Even if things don't go as planned, should remember that God is using every moment, even when things are hard and not clear, shape you to help you get better and grow. Remember that God doesn't want you to be perfect. He wants you to obey Him. Don't be afraid to trust Him and do what He says. He always tells me that I don't need to worry. We'll lead you. You don't know what the day will bring or how to get there. Know this, God knows and is with you, even though things will be hard. We'll be with you every step of the way through every doubt and fear. Today, I want you to be less stressed and lay down. Get rid of the things you don't need to carry and take off your weight. I dare you to trust God with your life. God has a plan for you no matter what you want, what you fear, or what your dreams are. You can move forward, but not because of your own strength or knowledge. It's because of His help. He leads you when you trust Him and let go of your fears that make you sad. You'll feel peace like you've never felt it before. Friends, I want to know if you trust Him. Will you accept Him as He is? You can choose to follow God. Peace is ready for you. Will you take it? Let go of your fears and let God guide you. Worry is a weight that a lot of us carry a lot of weight around with us and don't even know how much it changes our lives. We're meant to feel peace and joy, but it sneaks into our hearts and thoughts and takes them away. We carry a weight that we can't see every day that can feel so heavy. Sometimes it feels like the whole world is on our shoulders, but we don't always know how other people feel. Us until we're tired, worn out, or no longer care about what's important. What if my health gets worse? We worry a lot about what ifs. What if I lose my job? What if my kids or family have a bad time? What if today doesn't turn out the way I planned? Then I hope these thoughts stay with us and make our fears and doubts greater. They can feel like a heavy burden. We try to solve these problems in our minds by picturing and getting ready for every possible result. It's easy to think that by the more we think about it, the worse things get. We worry that if we do something about our problems, we'll be seen as careless or brave, but we're not. It doesn't help to worry. It only makes you more scared and blocks your view. When we worry, we can't see clearly and miss the moment and the things we can change. We're stuck in a stress loop that won't let us settle down and understand each other. When we're scared, we feel like we need to hold on to something to keep ourselves safe. It only holds us back and stops us from enjoying life's good things. Take a deep breath, live in the present, and trust that everything will work out as planned today. Stops us from getting the good things God has planned for us. Instead of focusing on how to get them, we're still worried about what might go wrong, and the fight with worry doesn't just happen to people a certain age or stage in life. Young people who aren't sure what they want to do with their lives, or older people who are afraid about their health or weight. It doesn't matter what time of day or night you think about money troubles. You could be a parent, a single person, a student, or the boss of a company. Worrying is bad for you. It's like the more we care about something, the more likely we are to give in to worry. We love our hopes and dreams, and we hope that all of them come true. Sources of worry if we let fear take hold in our minds. But no matter how, we're not meant to go through this by ourselves. It doesn't help us, keep us safe, or get us ready for the past. What it does is take away our happiness. It doesn't help us deal with life's troubles or plan for the future. That we can see right now makes us scared, worried, and we feel too much, which keeps us from living the life we were supposed to live, even if we want to. Must understand that while it's normal to worry about things that happen in life, doubts are like thieves who take what we have. They are not the way to peace. Most of all, we need to be happy, at peace, and able to live in the moment. Worst of all, we don't always understand that we're giving it away until it's too late. You may be tired and worn out, but there is a better way to let go of the stress. To be free, you need to let go of your fears and trust in something greater than yourself. There is only one answer: giving up. No matter how much we think worried is the right thing to do, it is not. Giving our problems to God and letting the peace that comes from that fill us up. We feel like we're not alone in this, not because we think we know everything, but because we believe we do. Doesn't control our lives or decide what will happen. We begin to break free from. We can go to a place where faith, trust, and peace lead us because of its hold on us. We can live our lives without being scared, and that's where we can begin to clear your mind, take a deep breath, and feel the joy that has been waiting. Coming to terms with that has always been a very deep matter. God, we were never meant to carry our cross by ourselves. God made us to be a part of a group, to connect with each other, and to know Him and live our lives with Him. But too often, we feel like we have to take the things that scare, question, and worry us. We try to do everything by ourselves since we believe we are the strongest people to do it. Life throws us a lot of big things, but we were never meant to do this. The world and the stars were made only by God. Oceans knows everything about us and all of our troubles. At times we will have doubts, worry too much, and believe that His love is too great for us to handle. It is God's word that we will not have to deal with our problems on our own. God will help us, is ready to take away our problems if we trust Him and don't break this promise. One of the best gifts we can get is God's call to let go and let Him lead us. We often make things worse when we try to keep track of every part of our lives. We worry and fear a lot, but when we trust God, we can feel at peace when we give Him our problems and let Him lead us. That kind of peace that doesn't depend on what's going on around us, that kind of peace that leaves no room for doubt. If we believe in God, we know that He is with us, leading us, and has a bigger plan for our lives. No matter how much we want to, we were never meant to carry the world on our shoulders. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. This isn't just a friendly ask. It's a promise that, don't worry, God won't take them away if we give them to Him. Not only does rest help our bodies, but it also helps our minds and hearts. Imagine how much better our lives would be if we truly believed that God exists. What would happen to our mood if we let Him carry our worries? When we believe that God will handle our fears, we shouldn't hold on to them. We are not saying that our problems don't matter. We are just aware that someone else's problems do. We know that even though we might not be able to, they are stronger than us and can handle them. Trust that God will give him all the answers and help he needs. Sometimes it's hard to ask for help because we don't have all the facts. We all want to be in charge of our lives, know what's going to happen, and have a plan for everything. When we trust God, he doesn't always show us He tells us what to do and doesn't expect us to know everything. He wants us to think that he is taking us to something good, even if we don't know what it is. Even when we give up our power and let God lead us, we still can't see the way. We don't need to worry about how to get through life by ourselves. We don't need to work everything out by ourselves. We don't need to worry about anything because we know God is leading us. He is always with us and knows how we should live our lives. It's important to remember that God's will doesn't always look like what we think it will look like. No matter how hard things get or how long we have to wait, his love is always with us. We can trust the direction, even if we don't understand why things are going the way they are. The good things that God is doing behind the scenes to change and grow us. God leads us when we say, I trust you. I trust that you know what is best. You will always be there for me and show me the right way even when I can't. And when we make that choice, when we let go of our fears and we will be at peace when God leads. God is ready for us to trust him and not worry about anything. He should take care of our problems when we give up on them. Let him give us the peace, rest, and direction that he is the only one who can. Friends, remember this. God never meant for you to carry your problems by yourself. He's ready to solve your issues. All you have to do is trust him and let God lead you. Letting go of fear is not something you should do. That's not something most of us do easily. In fact, it can feel like a fight all the time because our natural tendency is to hold on. To try to take care of our lives and fix anything that's wrong or not clear, we hold on tight to what we know. We worry a lot about what will happen, but we know we can't change it. Even though we can't change what's going on or even guess what will happen tomorrow, we keep worried because we believe that if we hold on to it, it will help us or make the pain go away. But there's a catch. The truth is that you need trust to choose to let go of your worries. Yes, we can't just rely on our faith whenever we want to. It's called making a choice or promise when we don't know if we can keep it. We can trust that God has a good plan for our lives no matter what. It means giving up our need to be in charge. Don't think that God is taking us to a better place than we thought. Believe not only when things are going well, but also when they are not. That's what hope is. If you believe, you trust that God has a plan even when things don't make sense. Faith helps us when we can't see how to move forward. Comes in when we're lost, when we can't see what to do, and when our faith gives us the strength to let go of our fears and we put our trust in something bigger than ourselves when we choose faith over fear. No matter how hard or confusing things may seem, it's about letting go of the need to control every part of our lives and trusting that God has a better plan for us than we could ever make up. We have faith because we know that God is with us always, even when things get tough. You can trust that he's making the most of every situation and job at work. Even when we fail or lose, it's for a reason that we might not always see. Faith tells us that God has a reason for the hard times we're going through. Everything has a reason and a plan. Think about it. God sees the big picture. He knows where things began and where they are going now. He knows how all the pieces of our story fit together, but we don't. Take a look at the small part of life we're living now. Look at the problems and challenges we face. God sees past what we're going through and what we don't know what will happen next. He leads us to the place he knows will happen and how to get there. It's great when we choose hope over worry. We agree with God that he knows more than we do. Think that his time is right, his plan is better, and the way he does things is... It's not always easy to do this, especially when life feels it's hard to know what to do and we don't know where the road ends. But faith is great because it doesn't need us to know everything. God gives us faith. We just need to believe. Faith also means letting go of what we need. It's not always clear why people choose faith. Getting over the idea that we need to know everything about how things will go and have all the answers for the things we don't understand, God wants us to believe Him. He doesn't promise to tell us everything ahead of time. Also, this is strong, when we pick hope over worry, start to feel the peace that comes from knowing we're not walking this road by ourselves. We feel at peace when we know that God is in charge, even when we don't want to believe that. We feel at peace because we know that nothing bad is going to happen. Don't let fear take over your life. It's not good to worry about what might happen. Passive voice is a strong way to say, I may not know everything, but I trust that God does. Believe in God's goodness even when things look bad. I don't know what will happen, but I know that He is holding me. We let ourselves to mess up when things aren't clear. You will feel free, happy, and at peace if you believe in a real God. Even when things get tough, we will always have the crying. There will always be worry if you have to pick between it and hope. We think about it, but every time we pick hope, every time we get closer to God when we trust Him instead of being afraid. That's why I dare you to fight worry and fear today. God promised peace is about to take over. Believe, trust, and have faith. God will lead you if you believe He knows better than you. Believe in God when you don't know what to do next. Only then will it bring you peace. There is a lot of strength in giving up, and we can only find it when we finally let go of the things that are stopping us, and we hold on tight to our fears, worries, and wants as if they were real the whole time. Are our job to keep an eye on and deal with. And we think that by holding for our own safety, we hold on tight to everything so we don't lose. What we hold on to, but the more we lose, the more we gain. We find it hard to give up the freedom and peace we want. We don't get it because we're told from a young age we need to make plans for the future, fight for what we want, and try to take care of our lives, and make sure everything works out for us. Giving up makes us feel weak. The truth is that it makes us want to give up and accept failure. Giving up doesn't mean you're weak. When we lose God takes care of our problems, which means we are not in charge. It takes a lot of faith to say, I can't do this by myself. I can't carry this. God, I know you can see this weight in its entirety, but I can't. We understand that we don't need to know everything when we give up. God already knows this. Before we even ask for it, we need to give up. Want to be in charge of everything and let God guide our lives. Being aware of our lives doesn't mean we stop making decisions or change on our path. Yielding means giving up the need to be in charge of As you give up, you have to trust that God is still at work. If we let God lead us, we have to trust that He knows what's best, even when we can't see it. Lead us, one step at a time, in the right way. We make room for God's way when we give up. We have peace in our hearts, which is different from all the other peace in the world. God's peace is the best of all. When you're going through tough times, pain, or confusion, it doesn't make sense to understand. It doesn't come from I'm at peace when I trust God's plan, not when I know how everything will turn out. That's the kind of peace we want, even when there's a storm going on outside. We feel safe because we know God has our backs. We let Him lead us through everything, but we often try to be in charge of our own lives. We do things in the hopes that they will make us feel safe or at peace. We think we'll be safe if we just remember everything, guess what will happen, and avoid every mistake. But the truth is, everything is out of our hands no matter how hard we try. We need to give up because life is hard to plan for. Letting go of the need to direct, control, or handle everything frees us from the false sense of power. This means we'll let God work in our lives and not fight we don't want to change, so we start to line up with what God wants. This is not giving up. Every day we choose to trust God and let go of the things we can't hold. One of the most beautiful things is that he shows us the way he wants us to go. God taking charge means we don't have to know everything ahead of time, which is a good thing. God leads us each step of the way before we even start the trip. He will never take us somewhere he hasn't been before. It is a good plan for our lives, even if we don't always understand it. Trust that his way is the best. Giving up also makes room for us. When that doesn't bother us, we can feel God's presence more deeply. We don't have to be in charge of everything. We can see how God is using the people around us to work in our lives, because he teaches us things and gives us quiet times. There are times when we can hear and feel his presence better when we give up. As I get to know him better and put more faith in his advice, don't forget that you have to choose to give up every single day. We may want to get back in charge, worry about the future, and try to make the best of things, but we can fight that urge every day. We can let go of our fears and trust God again if we choose to give up. It takes faith to choose every day to accept God. God takes care of our problems, so we don't have to worry about what might happen. Whenever we feel like the world is weighing down on us, we give up on our plans. We stop counting on our own strength and start counting on God's. Let his peace heal our minds and hearts and make them whole again. The stress, fear, and lack of direction that used to run our lives are gone now that we let God lead us. We start to walk freely, free from the weight of stress, little by little. Give up the need to be in charge and let yourself fully enjoy being with him. No, this is not the end of our trip. This is the beginning of a new life filled with God's peace. We'll follow his lead when we decide to give up and find peace. Have faith that God will guide us and be with us always. A brighter future than we ever thought possible in a world that it's easy to make this mistake when you're around people who think they need to be perfect, meet standards, and have everything under control. We think about the bad things we've done instead of how much God wants us to be good. Mistakes and flaws, and we sometimes feel like we're going to fall. God doesn't expect us to be perfect, but he wants us to be. He never did what he asked, to be honest. He wants trust, that's all, and respect. At first, this may seem odd. Aren't we supposed to? Being holy is important if you want to be more like Christ. But being holy and being perfect are not the same thing. Being perfect and having no flaws, mistakes, or slip-ups are not the same thing. You have to choose to follow God, know his heart, and live in a way that is good. We shouldn't treat God this way, even if we're not perfect. This is not what God wants for us. Not that we become perfect, but that we have faith and trust that he will. Please lead us, God, even though we're not perfect. To obey is key. He wants us to trust him, not be perfect. We believe in him and will follow his instructions, even if they seem strange. We can't figure out why or how things will work out. Ideal performance. If there comes a time when everyone would, life where they have to turn around, when there's a storm that even strong people get scared when they hear it. It could be a sickness or a crash in the economy. You broke up with someone or lost someone close to you. When we want to know, why, God, why? Why me? But the answer stays the same. Always do what we ask of you. Sometimes is God's best answer. Just this. Let me take care of it then. There is more peace then. It doesn't come from me, but I get it. Giving up is the only way to get it. When the fight ends in your own, trust that God is strong. Strength, everything changes. You can tell the change right away, but hope is, who you are is more important than what you see. You think that God is still with you, hasn't forgotten about your pain, didn't hear your cries. He's not late. He is not quiet. He's working in ways I haven't seen it yet, but will you? Are you going to back off and let him handle it? Let him be your God. You shouldn't have to carry around old life with you. You weren't made to fix everything. Choice or problem or decide what will happen. We're forced to believe, accept, and trust that your dad will be there for you always. It gets heavier every time you try to carry it by yourself. Takes away your happiness and peace, drains you. But when you give it to God, when you say, Lord, I give up, it's just the right size for me. For you use His strength in your tubeless life. Some of the most powerful. Making moves doesn't lead to big steps forward, but it's not weak to give up. Saying you need help is a good idea. When you give up on God, He is now in the fight, not you. When God takes over, what seems impossible becomes doable. Possible. Letting go doesn't mean you. If you stop caring, you can trust again. Don't give up. Give it to me. And when you do something, why things are out of your hand. Strange things happen in heaven. Let the doors that were moved for you. Close your eyes and begin to open the chains that held you. You start to get over your worry that because you're stuck, you start to fall apart. The person who made the world is now taking care of it. You might have been waiting a long time. You may be wondering Lord, when will things get better? In this truth, God's wait is not a protest. His gift isn't being kept from Him. Getting it ready, and He's also getting you ready. You might not believe things are going on, but God is still working. Scenes. He's setting up scenes. The stars and bits can't be moved. Oh, and while you wait, He's not putting together the gift He's making. When trust is put to the test, has faith, you can trust God. He's always on time, even when He needs to be somewhere quickly. They might not know how it works, but trust the promise, He said. I will always remember you and never leave you. I promise that everything will go well, for good to those who love Him. The Any promise that no weapons would be made against. You'll do well. You're getting in trouble and going to jail. Set up. You won't be forgotten. Looking for something bigger. The breaking is often a part of the blessing. For God to show things have to go wrong. He knows what makes you strong. Not in people, not in money, and not in you. Own skill, but only in Himself. And yes, we know how tough it is to let go. We want to decide when and how to do it. But faith that means something says, I don't. I only need to know how, and you know who they are. You know the one who spoke the stars into being. Do you know the person who stopped the storm? You know who fed you with a word? A lot of people were fed by a few loaves. God is also taking care of your fish right now. So don't stress out. Don't keep thinking about the worst thing that could happen. Don't let your mind make you tired, making things worse when only God can fix them. Don't worry. God sees everything. You can see some of the big picture, but not all of it. He can see how things will turn out. Knows the way. He knows what you need already. Why you might need it and how to get it to you. Napoleon Hill's view. Have faith and be smart as hell. I feel like everything is going wrong, but everything is from God's point of view. Everything is going as planned, and you're not behind schedule. We haven't forgotten about you. You are where you are. You need to be with God and show up in your life. The question is, are you sure He will stop to fix things you weren't meant to fix? A lot of people are worn out, not because, even though life is hard, but because of fear is strong when you don't want to believe. Stress and worry weaken you and take away your power. But faith brings it back. Faith renews faith. That's why God says, cast, you make me care about you, so I do too. All of your cares, not just some of, tell God about their health scare. Give that bond to God that is broken. Lord, take care of that money matter. Tell God about the pain you're trying to hide. Pay attention to what He does. He'll take what mess up and send a message. He'll get it. Turn something broken into something beautiful. He will take the things that were meant to hurt you and make the most of it. That's who He is, who makes things better and saves people. You could be a doctor who clears the way? Or, I've made too many, I thought. You said, I made mistakes. Don't let that stop you. That God has changed his mind about you. His kindness is always new, is still open, and he's not going to wait for, he wants nothing but the best for you. To be ready to believe, to give up and be ready to say, Lord, I can no longer do this without you. There will be peace when you do that. Not because your life changed right away, but your heart did. Right now, instead of going with the, you have a lot of weight on your feet as you walk, gave the job to the person who can carry it. And that act of giving up and letting God take care of it will, in ways you never thought possible, grow your faith. Pictured faith isn't just believing when examples from real life of trusting the process. It's simple to believe thoughts that are tough when there's no sign of magic, no proof that faith is keeping the word even. Faith is getting up and you want to run. I still say, God, I still, every morning. I trust you, and the more you do, your faith grows stronger as you let go of power, as you gain more experience. His strength, the more you give up, the more you rise, and what used to break you, it will begin to bless you what used to scare. You'll begin to shape who you are and what you will become, a story that makes other people feel hopeful. Don't stop, give up, or quit. Trusting God and letting him handle it. All the wheel, let him calm things down. Open the door and let him carry the load. He loves you very much. You didn't even know he was here yet. Every prayer is heard at work. Not seen. It's never a waste to trust someone. God is with you even when it seems like no one has remembered you. There for you all the time, even when you're weak. God knows how strong you are, even when you don't know what to do. Right where you are right now, feeling your heart say, let me handle it. I got this, I got you, he told her. A time in every Christian's life where it gets too hard to try, where fights make even the strongest hearts you've ever tried. Your prayers came true in every way. Worry that the things you've done all with the whole world on your back. If you only did and prayed more, or even more, things would finally, you can open up, but nothing seems to change. The rock doesn't move. The storm doesn't end. The answer doesn't appear. This is when God, let go, give it to, he starts to say. Me. We've been taught to believe that being strong means never, don't ever stop, bend, or not letting up. But in the kingdom of God, giving up is a sign of strength. We won't win if we never give up. It happens when we give up for good. We pray, Lord, I can't do this. I no longer need you. And in that holy, the act of giving up something wonderful starts to move. The weight you were, what happens when you give up? Starts to carry. The thing that wasn't meant to be carried, that wrapped around you in fear, mind starts to open up because of God. Does not need your strength, but he does need your believe that giving up does not mean giving up. When you give up, you stop. Being unable to finish, open the door that's locked and let God in. Let me show you the one he's already begun. Say, God, even if I don't, when you give up. Know that I trust you, even if I don't know how to say that you are that kind of giving up doesn't work. Come from being weak. It comes from deep down. The choice to grow spiritually is, let God use the Bible to, there were miracles all around the world in a moment of giving up. When Moses stood in front of when the army of Pharaoh got close to the Red Sea, he did what he was told and didn't attack. What God told Esther when she was in danger of death for going into the king's, she gave up her safety in court, and Christ said, if I die, I die. He was on his knees in the Garden of Gethsemane. He was so sad that he said, not my will, but yours be done. In these times, giving up made heaven come true. God, everyone tells you to be in charge, wants you to give up power, and that letting go is the key that opens his holy power over your life. As long as you keep the rules that God won't break to get in, eagerly awaits your invitation, your faith. And when you give it to them, give it to him. He does more than just fix things. He changes them. You might think giving up is dangerous, like you're going into the unknown. But friend, you're not going to nothingness. You are putting your hands in the person who knows how the story ends. Being the first person who has never failed, the one who decides what will happen to you. So calm down. Let go and let God take care of it. He can only wait for now. He steps in when you give up with more power than you could ever imagine. Think about or ask yourself, what does it feel like to wait? There's something hard about hope in the other end. Fears begin to whisper as you wait. Our hearts start to feel tired, and we think you pray and fast if you think God has forgotten about us. You have hope, and it feels like heaven has opened up as the silence grows. Peace and having a goal go together. But what if I told you that? It's not quiet. Giving up is the same thing as getting ready. So what if having to wait isn't a bad thing? God is never in a hurry for a reason. Does not work based on when we think something will happen, or he told us to follow the time. We trust each other. It may not seem like a big deal to wait sometimes, but the truth is that everything is. You can't see what's going on yet. Planting a seed makes it grow. Put it in the ground before it breaks. The same way, God is at work in places you can't see. Watch things move that you don't understand. Are there to get you ready for something more than what you asked for. God doesn't always give the gift. He's mean, but not because he's bad. Kind. He knows that if he gave it he waits because it might crush you soon. While he waits, he checks your faith. He makes you more likable and clears out your life. The fear, anger, and pride teaches you to trust someone who isn't him only in what he gives. Does not wish to give you the blessing. He wants you to be ready for it. Think about the person Joseph in the Bible. Want to be a great leader of wish came true, but he died before it did. Lied to, bound, jailed, and for years no one remembered him, but God made him wait, and he grew up who could do the job of Joseph walked into the palace. Before going for a walk he was not smart enough to go to jail. The guts or the kindness to do what he was called to do. The wait isn't over. It's just beginning. The practice field may be on your mind. How long do I have to wait? God is the only one who really knows what you can learn. Not a second of you're wasting time every minute you wait. Of the plan, every hole can be seen. God will hear your prayers. This shows that he really loves you. Time for your roots to grow so that when you'll keep getting windy. Why letting go makes God stronger. B, stable. There is a place to wait. You learn to have strong faith there. Do not rely on what you know, but on what he said. It's where hope grows, where there is peace, and friends are tested, not in the results, but in the appearance of, don't hate having to wait, just let it happen. Do its holy work in you. God is the only one who knows the right time. That's when the big break will happen. Check out what he had ready for you. Was worth every second you spent. Putting your faith in him in the quiet. There are times when you feel like prayers are hitting a wall. Things are not going the way you want them to. It gets very quiet, and you turn around. It looks like not a thing is moving. The people aren't getting better things. The people around you aren't answering, and it feels like the same amount of weight is on you. Heavy like it was yesterday, and in those, sometimes the enemy will try to trick you. Charge you that God has forgotten about you and isn't interested in you. Not there, quiet or not interested, but that isn't true. Because you can't see God, he's going, but there's no work for him. In fact, some of the most powerful things God does happen far behind the scenes. Because of what our eyes can see, God knows how to work in the dark, is ready to go while you sleep. He talks to other people for you. He lines up without telling you. Chances can open and close doors, often without making a sound, and it looks like everything goes with each other. Quickly took place, but it was being ready at all times. Think about a theater stage. When the curtain goes up, the room looks dark. There's not much going on, but things are going on behind the curtain, putting up lights and getting ready. Thanks for getting everything ready for the show. The crowd only sees the last. It turned out to be a slick show, but the most important things happened in the pause. That's where God works. In secret, you may still like this part of your life, but heaven is busy right now. There are plans from God that are, lastly, your faith will get stronger. Set up. Hearts are being warmed. You get mad when things take too long, but they are there to help. There are changes in the road that look like a mess, but in the end, are taking you to the right end point. You might not know any. It's still important, even though it's smaller. The Bible really does tell us to walk. That's why we walk by faith and not by sight. Faith is not about being able to see who God is, having to do with what he thinks he is doing, even if you can. And the lovely fact is that God shows what he's been getting done is more than you asked for, more than you thought of, and on time. It will work out if I do what you say. Great fit for his plan. The job you didn't think, the healing you almost given up trying to make peace with you thought was impossible. These are the kinds of amazing things God does. Secret hand. Hold on while you wait. I believe you are unsure, so keep praying. Keep giving praise even though you're sad. God is still working. He hasn't stopped. He'll keep it secret and pull it out when the time is right. Open the screen to see a story that always full of love and well thought out plans, and still strong. You don't have to. You need to see it to believe it. Believe that the God who loves you is never bored, never far away, and never late. His job is now, and one day you'll always remember how great he was. Hey, everyone. Moving on. There comes a time when putting on wears you out more than letting head over to you play all night. Talks about picture the worst events and try to guess what will happen. That you can't get to worry. Starts to make you unhappy. Your health and even your strength. You smile, but you're really sad. Is worn out. And the sound of is your mind racing with worry? God is calling you softly to let go of everything and trust him. Worry steals. It takes the W right now and makes it scary. It makes you think about the future. It makes you believe that you need to fix everything and everyone and think about what could happen. That made you feel heavy. You were never meant to carry this, to carry the weight of the world. You had been made so you could worry about someone who runs the whole world. You don't have to let go when you give up. Having faith in something fits into God's perfect, all-powerful plan. When you choose to let go of something, wonderful things begin to happen inside of fear has a tight grip on you. Do not feel like you have to be in charge. Peace really sets in as the noise fades. Peace that can't be broken starts to grow in. You're not getting this peace in your heart from all the good things going on around you when you believe the person who perfect above you. It's in the Bible, more peaceful than anything else. It doesn't make sense to know because stops the storm, but not always outside. But deep down you think about the following the boat through a storm. The waves smashed and the wind howled, screamed, and their hearts were, he was scared, but Jesus, he went to sleep because he knew who was in power. And when they finally screamed, he stood there and used to calm the sea. He still does that. Sometimes he waits until we let go of, he waits while we try to fix it, until we tell him in front of him. To let go is to say, Lord, I need you, of giving up. It means choosing to believe that there are things you can't see that God knows about and loves you more than, you know what it means, letting go of the what happened, when it happened, and how to get into in his hands. The thought that even if things don't go as planned, things will go the way he wants them to. He wants the best for you all the time. Trouble is still there, even when it's peaceful. It's God being in the middle of. Remember to hold on to what you still have. Yesterday, anger, fear, and power get mad and throw it at his feet. Say it out loud as a prayer. Now take a big breath. Let it go and think he's big. You are smart enough to carry it, that they care about you enough to walk with you. When you let go of your load, you make room in your heart for him. Peace. That peace will help you get through this. Keep you strong and safe in every plan's part A. Pain is one of, it looks into the biggest mysteries in life, stays longer than we want, and often makes us think, say, why me, why now, in the quiet? Why are we doing all of this? We're in a lot of pain. It looks like we're being punished and forgotten, or lost, but God will never leave you. Wastes pain in his hands, even yours. The worst pain is turned into a way to change. You understand what's going on. You don't deserve to feel broken. Getting ready. Think about how an artist shapes clay. Clay, before it turns into something, the clay needs to look nice and be useful. Twisted, pressed, and even fire. The process is very rough. And if the clay most likely would scream if it could talk, in pain. But the artist knows what he's doing. He has a good idea of the clay will become God, helping you through tears and hard times. At times, it looks like they'll hurt you but not break you. You are being broken to kill you, to help you get through every tough spot. Through might help you learn more about it's easy to trust God. When things are going well, it's clear and there are lots of gifts. In the fire, you can find real hope. Those prayers to God late at night with no answer, that your roots go deeper. When it's quiet, people pay more attention to what he whispers. That's when everyone gives up, that his love makes your heart depend on him. Strength, not Joseph was lied to by his brothers who were taken advantage of and made slaves, blamed and forgotten in jail. He did it again when he was in charge. Looked at the people who were listening and said, what you thought was bad, God thought was good. Now you know the secret of God. God can change what was supposed to happen, to hurt you and heal you, get you ready for. Not you, but something much bigger. Picture the pain as the stage for what you want. Don't let the enemy make you believe that your pain is, it doesn't matter how many tears you shed, every broken heart you've ever had. What kinds of letdowns have you been through? God sees and knows about it. He says he'll pay for it, though. Pain to soften your heart so you can teach kindness that makes you feel bad about yourself. Bring awareness up and encourage. You don't give yourself strength from him. You may not understand why. Keep the who for now. God is still good and rules over everything. His work is still going on even though it's dark. You learn that when you look back. The valley you thought would kill you really made you a better person. More brave and caring to you, and more ready for your... Don't look down on your pain, callers. Don't run away from it. Give it to God and let him use it. Let him talk about it. Help you most where you need it. I believed you were the best because when you're hurt, it's not over. An early sign of something stronger and bigger. Chapter. God is always there, writing something lovely in you. Trust isn't always easy, especially. Not sure when the prayers will start not being answered, or when things don't go as planned. Match what we wanted. Peace of mind, focus, and a sense of... But trust does get stronger. In giving up, not having all the answers, trusting the person who does. Don't forget about God just because you believe in him. To choose which things to believe, that his world is better and greater than all that we see. Giving up and letting God handle what? You're not weak because of things you can't change. You are set free and the chains are broken. Of stress and worry about having to put it all together and accept that God is not a passive act. It's one of the... You're brave because when you take your hand off the handle and open your hands, you're not giving up. God can do things that only in God's kingdom he can get stronger. Not looking like you can handle things by yourself. Dependence looks like you can find it in a whisper in the heart that, Lord, I don't get it, but I still trust you. Of trust doesn't happen right away. Built one day at a time, choice by choice, as you start to believe what he says. Not just your fears, there's something else. Strong in your faith in God. Faith helps us see things clearly when we don't understand them. Get stable. That's the place where peace is. Getting bigger, not because there's peace everywhere, but because you have a home for your mind. They will trust is when storms come. Things that keep you going when times get slow. It takes longer than hope to build trust. What makes you hopeful while you wait? When things don't go as planned, trust is what keeps you going. Not being scared, the truth is that the more believe in God more as you age. Helps you grow, makes you better, and strengthens the base of your life. You learn not to count on your own narrow view and start having faith in a God who is smart enough to do anything. As you start to see when you give up power, that you never had to carry it all. God already has big shoulders. Enough to keep his hands still enough that because your heart is good if you find you at a time when nothing makes sense. It makes sense, but the weight is too much. Don't try to hold it together. Give up and believe that the sky and the land were made by God. How you deal with things and how you do it. Fear not, you will change. Will get weaker, but you'll get stronger. Have faith in your strong, quiet faith. Will change into the thing that moves. You